The January transfer window is typically a quieter period than in the summer, although it has seen its fair share of last-minute drama and is known for being the realm of desperate clubs trying to save their season with panic spending sprees. Many of Premier League's best-ever signings have come in the January transfer window regardless, and it wouldn't be overly surprising to see a number of high-profile moves once again. As has been particularly on show in recent history, a mega money signing in January can provide a major boost heading into the second half of the season, while we've also seen a number of hidden gems unearthed over the years. Welcome to Football Attitude's 11 of the best January signings in Premier League history. Seamus Coleman. Everton snapped up Coleman from Irish side Sligo Rovers all the way back in January 2009 for a price of just £60,000, and he's gone on to be perhaps their best ever signing. It's easy to forget that Coleman endured a difficult start to life with Everton, having suffered a freak foot infection that threatened to end his career early upon emerging as a fringe contender by the 2009-10 campaign. The right-back was eventually handed his senior debut in October 2009 against Benfica in the Europa League, a game Everton lost 5-0 before claiming 2 assists against Tottenham in his home debut just 2 months later. The Irishman was then loaned to Blackpool shortly after, helping the Championship side gain promotion to the Premier League before returning to Everton the following campaign. Coleman has since made 395 appearances for Everton at the time of writing and remains club captain, a position he was bestowed in 2019. 10. Clint Dempsey. Leaving New England Revolution in the United States, Dempsey joined London club Fulham for $4 million or £2 million in January 2007 as he became Major League Soccer's biggest export at the time. The versatile forward became the Cottagers' greatest goal scorer of the Premier League era by hitting a half-century, while he also led the club to a 7th place finish by the end of the 2008-9 season. In the 2009-10 Europa League season, Dempsey scored the most memorable goal in the club's history, an outrageous chip to knock out Juventus in a second-leg comeback during the round of 16. That continental run saw him become the first American to play in a European Cup final, as Fulham unfortunately lost to Atletico Madrid in extra time. 9. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Arsenal splashed out a club record £56 million on deadline day, January 2018, for the striker, who had built a fearsome reputation as one of Europe's finest finishers while at German club Borussia Dortmund. The Gabon international had notched 141 goals in 213 games for Dortmund and arrived in hot form, having scored 21 in 24 during the first half of the season. Aubameyang immediately hit the ground running, scoring 10 league goals in just 13 Premier League outings. In his first full season, 2018-19, he shared the Golden Boot award with Liverpool starmen Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, with all three ending the campaign on 22 goals. The forward would then score a further 22 league goals the following season, alongside leading the Gunners to FA Cup victory with braces in both the semi-final and final against City and Chelsea respectively. His Arsenal career eventually turned sour with disciplinary issues, forcing him to leave for Barcelona before joining Arsenal's rivals Chelsea in 2022. But as January signings go, Aubameyang certainly goes down as one of the best. 8. Jermaine Defoe. Jermaine Defoe could technically appear on this list twice, as he initially joined Tottenham in the 2004 January transfer window and, after a year with Portsmouth, rejoined the North Londoners in the same month in 2009. After then Spurs manager David Pleat gave West Ham United £7 million and Bobby Zamora for the then 21-year-old services during the 2003-04 campaign, the four bagged 7 times as Spurs finished 14th. Injury denied him the chance to make as substantial a contribution 5 years later, but his return played its part in lifting Spurs out of a poor run of form and into safety. With over 300 combined appearances and 143 goals, the forward cemented himself as a Tottenham legend, and at the time of writing he sits second to Harry Kane in the club's all-time scorers list. 7. Philippe Coutinho. Having struggled for game time at Inter, then Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers bolstered his attack with the exciting £8.5 million acquisition of the then talented 20-year-old in 2013. Coutinho would go on to play 201 games for the Merseyside club, scoring 54 goals, recording 45 assists, and establishing himself as the creative heartbeat of the Liverpool team. However, it was ironically in his departure that the Brazilian truly allowed the club to progress. In a move sanctioned by succeeding manager Jurgen Klopp, having already had his heart set on a move away over the summer, Coutinho finally completed a stunning £145 million move to Barcelona in January 2018. Particularly without a ready-made replacement, many at the time thought the exit could prove disastrous for Liverpool, but it turned out the opposite as they used the money to fund moves for defender Virgil van Dijk and fellow Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson Becker. 6. Gary Cahill. Arsenal and Tottenham had also both been keen on the centre-back in January of 2012, but Cahill's decision to join Chelsea for £7 million instantly proved to be the right one. He was a starter as Chelsea claimed their first ever Champions League trophy in May that year with a historic penalty shootout win over Bayern Munich, while also winning the FA Cup, though he missed the final with a hamstring injury. The Englishman would go on to win 2 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, a League Cup, and 2 Europa Leagues. Cahill was named in the PFA Team of the Season 3 times while at Chelsea and was given the unenviable job of replacing John Terry as club captain in 2017, a duty he handled without question before eventually leaving in 2019. 5. Branislav Ivanovic. Chelsea acquired the in-demand defender from Lokomotiv Moscow in 2008, and similarly to Seamus Coleman, he was made to overcome a tricky start on his way to becoming a club legend. Ivanovic wouldn't make a single appearance for the Blues in the 2007-08 season, having been overlooked by then-manager Avram Grant in a campaign that ended in bitter disappointment as they were beaten by Manchester United in the Champions League final. The defender, initially bought as a centre-back, later admitted he could have left without ever playing a game for the West London club, but after transitioning to a right-back, he became one of the first names on the team sheet. The Serb would eventually make 377 appearances for Chelsea, winning 3 Premier League titles, 3 FA Cups, a League Cup, and both the Champions League and Europa League. In fact, he was the one who scored the all-important stoppage time winner that sealed Chelsea's Europa League victory in 2013. 4. Patrice Evra. Recruited by Sir Alex Ferguson to bolster the left-back role, Patrice Evra was snapped up by Manchester United early in the January window of 2006 amid interest from rival clubs. Signed for £5.5 million from French club AS Monaco, Evra initially struggled to adapt and continued to rotate in and out of the 11 heading into the 2006-07 campaign, but cemented his place after a year or so of acclimatization. From then on, the Frenchman blossomed, becoming a key piece of the puzzle as United dominated domestically and reached the European summit once more. The Frenchman went on to win 5 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League trophy, and 3 League Cups in the space of 8 years before leaving for Juventus in the summer of 2014. 3. Luis Suarez. Suarez completed a £22.7 million move to Liverpool from Ajax in 2011, remarkably in a deal that was perhaps overshadowed by Andy Carroll's £35 million arrival at the time. But it was Suarez who set the Premier League alight during his 3.5-year stay at Liverpool, where he scored 82 goals in 133 games. The Uruguayan perhaps also produced one of the finest individual seasons in Premier League history during the 2013-14 campaign, where he won the Golden Boot with 31 goals as Liverpool agonizingly lost out to Manchester City in the title race. A controversial footballer, Suarez was equally a joy to watch and utterly unplayable on his day. Liverpool eventually allowed the forward to leave for Barcelona in 2014 in an impressive deal worth £75 million. 2. Virgil van Dijk. Plenty of eyebrows were raised as Liverpool announced the £75 million acquisition of Virgil van Dijk from Southampton in 2018, which was then the highest ever fee for a defender. Jurgen Klopp's side were undeniably vulnerable at the back, and after falling short in their pursuit of the defender the previous summer, they finally splashed the cash the following January. Van Dijk quickly and emphatically silenced any and all doubters and has since emerged as one of the best central defenders in world football, playing a significant role in transforming Liverpool into the force they are today. The Dutchman played an instrumental role as Liverpool reached the Champions League final within 5 months of his arrival, though falling short in a 3-1 defeat against Spanish titans Real Madrid. His leadership at the back would ensure Liverpool won the tournament the following season in 2019, and in 2020 the Reds would end their 30-year wait for a Premier League title, with Van Dijk of course at the centre of it all. 1. Nemanja Vidic. The Serbian £7 million move from Spartak Moscow to Man United in January 2006 simply has to go down as one of the best Premier League transfers of all time. Sir Alex expressed his sheer delight upon the announcement of the signing, revealing he had been scouting the then 25-year-old centre-back for 3 years. Joining in the same window as Patrice Evra, United would win the League Cup within 2 months of Vidic's arrival, before the defender went on to win 5 Premier League titles, the Champions League, and a further 2 League Cups. Vidic will forever be remembered for his stellar performances and formidable partnership with Englishman Rio Ferdinand, which many fans argue to be the Premier League's best defensive pairing.